What's up, guys? Got Dave here, and this is part 2 of my lane position video. And in this video, I just wanted to talk about different situations that I encounter on my daily rides, and where I like to put myself in the lane when I ride. And the best way to be is in one of the 2 tire marks on the road. In general, if you're in either the left track or the right track of where cars go, that's usually the best way. One thing I do like all the time is if I'm turning left, I like to be in the right tire track like that. And if I'm turning right, like as soon as I start turning right, I get over here. That way your overall body and everything stays in the lane. Like when you're leaning like this, if your bike's over here and you're over here, you're pretty much centered in the lane. Where like if it's a left-hand turn and you're over here and you're leaning, who knows how much of you is over that double yellow line, and like all of a sudden if a truck comes around the turn with like a big mirror or something. So I don't like to do that. Like up in the canyon, I don't like to do that. Like if I'm coming up to a turn here, I'll get over on the right hand side because it's a left turn, and I'll just do it like that. And then I see this turn coming up, so I'm gonna get over here to the left because it's a right hand turn. And what that does is, like, if it's a right hand turn and I'm over here, I could see way farther up than if I'm over there where the hill is blocking my view, or whatever buildings or whatever's over there. And same with like a left hand turn. I got a left coming up here, I'll show you. Is if I'm over on the right side, I could see way better than being up on the left. And it's a lot safer too, because when I start leaning and my head comes over like that, I don't want to be over here because then my head's on the wrong side of the road. So that in general, that's what I do. And like when I'm riding aggressively up in the canyon, that's what I do, is right turn, left track, left turn, right track. And then if I'm turning like this and I see some paint, I want to stay away from that paint, especially if it's wet like this. But even when it's dry, like if I'm up in the canyon and I'm making a turn and like I get too close to like the inside of the turn and my tires start going on that white line, I definitely notice the difference in traction. Like if I'm riding aggressively and my tires get on that paint, it is a bad thing, dude. It is like it's bad news. You don't want to be over there. You want to be like on the asphalt where it's freaking, dude, that is beautiful. Wow. That's something I think about up on the freeway is anytime something happens, like when traffic starts slowing down, like I'm just cruising along, say I'm in a tire track, or even like I could be in the middle of the lane, it really doesn't matter, but usually I don't like to be directly behind a car because I can't see around them very good. And if there's something in the road and they run it over and all of a sudden it just comes shooting out of the back of their car like at me, I don't like that. So I like to be at least off to the side a little bit so I can kind of see what's up there, get a glimpse of something that they might be like gonna run over. But the biggest thing like on the freeway for me is when everything, like all of a sudden we're just cruising along, doesn't matter too much where I am, but then all of a sudden when everybody starts hitting the brakes, like oh crap, like there's an accident up ahead or something like that. Like the other day, I will get over here, I'll be like boom, get up on the line, and that way it does 2 things. If everybody slams on the brakes, I can go between those cars and save myself from someone who's going to rear end me. But at the same time, even if I don't split, by being on that line, it gives a car that might not be paying attention, it gives them the opportunity to, like, they could still rear end that car right there, like next to me, without hitting me. Or with maybe just bam, just like kind of tapping my handlebars or something, or hitting my mirror a little bit on their way to rear-ending that car. But I don't totally get squished. That's the thing, dude, is like if you fully get rear-ended by a car and it pinches you between like that car and the one in front of you, dude, you're doomed. Like bare minimum, you're gonna freaking end up in a wheelchair. because it's gonna like cut your legs off, dude. You know, as far as like splitting lanes, and as far as like why I think splitting lanes is so good and why it should be legal everywhere. And when you look at it like overall, like as far as the whole world, like freaking 90% of the world it's legal because most countries know that that's how they keep their motorcycle riders safe. And if you look at a lot of the countries that are really, really populated, that have like a lot of people like riding like little scooters around and stuff, like over in like the Asian countries and like over in like India and stuff like that, that's the only way they can stay safe, because traffic over there is so freaking crazy that if they were like, okay, you're not allowed to split lanes, dude, there'd be people getting crushed everywhere. It would be freaking crazy. And a lot of times lane position, you know, it'll like, if you could tell from the camera like how rough it is right here, and then if I get over here, boom, dude, silky smooth. And that's something like you don't have the freedom of doing that in a car. And then one thing I do like when I'm on the street is like, say this is a stop, okay? Say this is the right lane and they don't actually have a turn lane here. When I come up to the stop, I stop over here on the left. And what that does is like, if there's a car behind me and he wants to make a right-hand turn on the red light, which is legal, he's able to do that and I'm not blocking his way. So that's kind of a lane position thing that I do just out of courtesy, you know? I mean, when you come up to a light or a stop sign, you definitely want to stop in one of the two tire tracks just to avoid the oil that's in the center of the road, you know, because a lot of times right where the cars are stopped, that's where they're dripping the most oil or coolant or anything like that. And if you're like right in the middle and you just come up to the stop and you're like sitting in a puddle of freaking coolant, you know, like I actually saw a Harley guy do that on the way home from work one day, and he almost crashed because of that. Whoa, whoa. Oh, man. Late at night, riding the Grom, when there's not very much visibility, I like to stay right in the middle of the road. That way, like, in case a rabbit runs out in front of me or something like that. And that's something that's like an exception to the rule that I was just talking about. Is, you know, like I was just saying that, like, you know, like you want to be like a right-hand turn, you want to be here, but then this left-hand turn, I want to be there. But I don't, not late at night when I'm afraid of like animals running out in front of me. I want to stay like here and not too close to the double yellow, because sometimes there'll be like a bunch of crap right there, just like there is over off to the right side of the road. You know, it'll kind of like gather on the center and it'll gather over to the right. I like to stay in the left tire track, so I'm kind of like in the middle of the road, and I have the best chance of avoiding something if a rabbit like runs out from the side of the road or something like that. But then at the same time, you know, it's like I'll break my own rule again, because like say I'm coming up to this left-hand turn, I don't want to be in the middle of the road. I kind of want to like get away from the center just in case there's a car coming the other way. Now I can tell there's not, so I can get back over here. But if it's like a blind turn and there's a car coming the other way and he's like a little bit over the double yellow, that could be really dangerous if I'm right here in the lane. Basically, like when I ride, I limit myself, like the farthest left I want to go in the lane is the left tire track of the cars, and the farthest right I want to go in the lane is the right tire track of the cars, because anything beyond that is where the dirt's going to be. There's actually a dirty spot up here, and I'll show you. See, like, look at this. Right where the tire tracks are, it's actually clean, you know, and there's like no dirt. So it's funny because it's like the rules that I keep giving in this video, I have to keep contradicting, you know, because I'm like, oh, at night you want to be like in the middle of the lane, you know, but then how can I be in the middle of the lane if I'm going around a left-hand turn? I should be in the right tire track. So you constantly have to think about, like, am I increasing or decreasing my visibility? And what I mean by that is not only like how well can you see, but how well can cars see you? Or if I'm like just going through a neighborhood at night, I'm always in the middle of the road. I'm always out here in the middle. Especially if there's a bunch of cars like parked on the right, I'm always staying away from them. I'm not passing a parked car like this. That is not a freaking good idea, because if there's somebody in there and they're just whatever, you know, like finishing up a text or a phone call, and then they hop out of the car without even looking like in the side mirror to see if you're coming. They just like swing the door open. Dude, that would be bad. So like anytime I'm passing cars that are parked like this, I'm always at least a door's length away from that car. So if that door did go wah all of a sudden, I would be far enough away that I wouldn't freaking get taken out. Yeah, and then like say I'm going off-road. I'll just, or like a fire road, whatever, like this, I just stay right in the middle of the road, you know, like, I mean, obviously I'm gonna avoid like ruts or potholes or something like that if I possibly can, but in general, if I'm like on a side road like this where it's really dark and, you know, I don't know like what's over to the side there or over to the side there. I mean, I could tell that's a wall, but I don't know what's over there. It looks like a drainage ditch or something. So I'll stay right here in the middle of the road. There's no reason why I shouldn't, you know what I mean? And if a car is, you know, starts coming the other way, I'll just get over here to the right where I should be and let him pass. And then once he passes, I'll get back over in the middle. See, that was an example where it's like I just naturally get to this side of the lane. Yeah, it's like you don't got to tell me nothing. I see that car coming out of that freaking side street, and I'm like, okay, put as much space between me and that car as possible. Give me as much time to react as possible if that guy does something stupid and just pulls out in front of me. And on roads like this, where it's like 2 lanes going either way, if I'm in this lane, I will be over toward this side, just because there's streets coming out and I want maximum visibility from those cars coming out. And technically, if you have the option, if nobody's back there, you're better off out here. And if you're out here, then maybe be like just right of center, be in this tire track. That way it puts you kind of in the middle of this side and a little bit farther away in case like a little squirrel runs out or something. He's got a better chance of like not getting clipped by you. Be thinking about stuff like that and customize your riding. You know, don't ride the same way all the time, because the conditions are not the same all the time. Yeah, in my opinion, if I'm in this lane, I do not want to be just right of center, because then a car coming out right there is blocked by all those trees. Not a good deal. I'd rather be just left of center, so I'm closer to the middle of the road and I can see better. So I'll talk to you guys soon. See you in the next video. And I hope this helped. You know, I hope this keeps some of you guys safer than you would have been without it. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.